All right, we're back for another episode. This is No Limits with E Willy. Today's guest is the one and only Dean Thomas. Welcome to the podcast, Dean.
Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate you.
Oh man, I've been a fan of yours for a long time. I'm excited to talk to you.
Thank you.
How you doing during all this pandemic chaos, brother?
It's good, man. I'm kind of a low key person anyway, so this didn't really affect me all that much. In fact, it just gave me more of an excuse to stay away from people.
Yeah. Are you writing comedy stuff during this downtime, or what you doing, man? How you staying?
Not much. I've just been I'm in a transition phase right now anyway with work and what I want to do with my career. So just kind of trying to figure that out,
Yeah.
But it's hard to figure it out because nobody knows what's going on.
Right.
So it's very difficult to like solidify something when you don't really know what's going on. So
Yeah, for sure, man. So you left ATT. You're no longer with that camp, right? You're in the process of maybe starting your own. Is that the
no,
plan?
yeah, but you see, the thing is, like, I don't want a team. I don't want to start my own thing. I
Yeah.
just want to work with individuals and help individuals do their thing, as opposed to like having this team and feeling like we gotta have this team environment. I don't really care to do that. I just
Yeah.
want to have a couple people that I like that I work with, and then we grow from there.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. Who are you working with right now currently? I know you had Greg Hardy, but he's probably still with ATT. Is that right?
Well, he did his last camp with them, and I told him to. He called me and asked me if I would actually go to his fight, and I said, "Man, that's probably not a good idea because you've been training with ATT this whole time, and
Yeah.
it's not a good look." But now we'll revisit that idea. So Greg might be an option, but right now I'm with Tyron Woodley right now. We're in Atlanta in camp, so
I think I've heard of that guy.
yeah, yeah. And then I'm working with Jillian Robertson and a few other
Awesome.
Hannah Goldies and a few other people.
That's awesome. You and T Wood, do y'all have a podcast together, or are y'all talking about doing one?
We do. We haven't recorded in like 2 years.
Oh, okay. I knew
Yeah,
there's
but now we do. It's called the Morning Wood Show.
Morning Wood Show. Okay.
Yeah, but we just kind of took some time off just because life gets in the way of living sometimes, and
Yeah, you both
you
got a
just
lot going
kind
on.
of yeah, so much going on. Especially him, he's got so much going on that we just had to take some time off.
Yeah, for sure. What's the deal with his next fight? Is that finalized yet?
It's still not finalized yet because there's obviously so much with throwing an event, but especially now because of trying to get a location and putting a card together on short notice. It's difficult, but May 23rd was the date they said, so we're getting ready for that.
Oh wow. Okay. Are you still living in Florida?
Yeah, I'm still living in Florida, but we're training in Atlanta right now.
Oh, okay. Cool. You mind giving us a backstory on your life, man? What got you into MMA? Because you have a very, very decorated MMA career, and anybody that doesn't know need to go check it out. You have a huge record. You
Yeah,
fought
well,
a lot of big people, against a lot of good people.
it's crazy because I never looked at my career as like a career
Mm-hmm.
because as I was building my career, I was just living my life and just doing some fringe sport that I thought was just gonna go away one day.
Right.
I got in. I started doing what's now called MMA. We called it Vale Tudo or No Holds Barred back in the 90s. Started doing that in the mid 90s, like right after high school. Graduated in 94, so like 94, 95, I started dabbling in it, just like watching it and going, oh, I want to try that. I'm going to try that move and getting videos. But that's kind of how it started back then. There was no access to it. Like nowadays, you can go to any city and there's a black belt from Pedro Sauer or a Hickson Gracie black belt. Anywhere you go, there's a Muay Thai academy. So, but back then it wasn't that way. So we had to be creative. We had to figure it out on our own, which helps me today actually in terms of coaching because the game is still changing. So I'm still using the same process that I used when I first started
Yeah.
to be creative and be innovative. Anyway, so yeah, and that's just kind of how I started. I started just learning as much as I could from whoever I could, where I could. And then next thing I know, I was fighting in these small shoot fighting events in Miami. And then that led to fighting in Orlando and in some valet tudo events. And then next thing I know, I was in Japan fighting in Shuto. And then
That's
I
awesome.
don't know, it just kind of next thing you know, the next day doing something else, the next day doing something else. And it's just like one step after the other. Next thing I know, I'm in the UFC, and I'm like, what? How did I get here? But that's really how my career started. It was like 10 years of just every day doing something different that was bigger than the day before.
That's awesome. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
You got into it in the late 90s. Is that right?
Yeah, it was about the mid 90s. I had
Mid-90s?
watched the first UFC in 90. I think the first time I saw the UFC was like 1994. And I mean, it was obviously different times. It was
Right.
such a circus back then, but it was more on the lines of, you know what, I don't want to get my ass kicked, so I need to learn how to fight.
Yeah.
There's ways to do it, and you're watching, small little Hoist Gracie beating up these bigger guys. So, I got to learn how to do that because I'm a small guy. I got to learn how to do that. So, I just learned how to do it.
And that's all through a VCR too, because that's the time.
Yeah, through VCR tapes. It's amazing how easy it is to get information now. I have more. I probably have more martial arts techniques online right now than I had to learn with.
Yeah, I believe
back then.
Yeah. It's an endless encyclopedia out there now with YouTube and
Yeah.
everybody's personal content. But
Yeah.
back then you had to go search out a VHS tape and borrow it from a friend and all that to get some stuff to watch to actually learn anything.
Yeah, we were dubbing the Henzo Gracie Craig Huko tapes and the Mario Sperry. I got all the Mario Sperry tapes. I think I still have them.
Yeah. I wonder if that's worth anything these days, man. My kids won't ever even know what a VCR is.
Yeah, right. They know what a VCR is. Yet we're like, I don't know. Man. It's just how you lived it, so you know how it was back then.
Yeah. Blockbuster and all the private-owned video stores.
Mm-hmm.
That's a whole other world that's gone now. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
What was your personal favorite fight that you were in, that you did?
Well, I mean, I've had so many fights that were just memorable for their own reasons. I can't really put a finger on any one that I would say was like my personal favorite. I mean, some were bigger than the others, but I've had so many. Like every fight was like memorable for me. I mean, I've had so many memorable ones. I think maybe an important one that I never really talk about all that much was probably my fight against Fabiano Iha, and that was a UFC 33. Because I had just lost to BJ. They signed me back in June, and then they had the fight against Iha, UFC 33, was September 28th, 2001. I remember that because it was my birthday. So I fought him on my birthday. And I remember it was the first time I left to do a training camp in LA at Raw. That was where Frank Trigg and Vladimir Matyshenko trained.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of the premier spots back then. And I did my camp there. But on my day home from the camp was 9/11. And I remember being in the airport in LA,
wow,
looking up at the monitors and watching the Twin Towers exploding.
Damn.
And then it was mayhem inside the airport at LAX, and I couldn't get home for 2 weeks.
Wow.
So I was stuck in LA for a couple of weeks. Then I finally went home, and then a week later I flew out and fought in the UFC in Vegas. And it was the very first fight. It was the very first fight in Vegas. The UFC had never been to Vegas before. So that was the first one in Vegas.
That's really cool to be a part of that too. That's historical. Man, I talked to a lot of people about 9/11 because my other podcast is a conspiracy debunker, or truth or theory is what it's called. So we break down conspiracy theories to find out if they're truth or complete bullshit. And man, I've talked to a lot of people about 9/11, but I've never talked to anybody that was actually in an airport flying around that time. That's got to be intense, man.
It was intense. I mean, people were going crazy. Like everybody was going crazy. They actually bust everybody out away from the airport. But like people were in there like trying to rent cars to get home. Like everybody was just going crazy. But I just ended up staying in LA for an extra week, or it was like an extra 10 days or so until they started flying again. But it was madness. It was a wild time.
Dude, I can't imagine. That's crazy. The place, it was nuts just in general, but much less being in the airport. That must have caused some serious panic.
Yeah.
What's your relationship with Matt Serra, man? That shit cracks me up with you two guys.
Well, me and Matt have, you know, when you ask me, like, you know, who are my favorite people on earth, if I had to name like 5 of them, Matt would be in there.
Wow.
You know, he really is one of my favorite people. Yeah, he really is one of my favorite people on earth. And it's just, we have so much history together. We fought back in 2000 and I want to say 4, maybe 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Prior to that, I had a competition against his roommate, Rodrigo Gracie, back in like 2001. He broke my arm. But Matt had beaten my roommate, Paul Rodriguez, in another tournament. He choked him out. So like Matt had always like had all these wins over me. But we had so much history. I mean, it was just, we had a lot of history, but didn't really know each other. So when we fought, we had all that history. Like, we just thought we were supposed to hate each other. So we were on the internet, and this was before the internet was like really big. Like, you know, everybody on the internet, on Twitter now talking trash, but this was before it was really big, and we would be on the underground forum and talking trash to each other, and his students was roasting me. I learned to never mess with a guy from New York after that incident. But so we had a bad relationship until we went to the auditions for the Ultimate Fighter, the comeback season. So I remember being there, and we were walking around the mall, and Matt was like, "Man, listen, come here." And I said, "What's up?" And he said, "Man, we got this beef for what?" And I was like, "I don't know." And next thing I know, we got in the house. We just kind of squashed it right there. Then we got in the house together, and we were roommates in the house, and then we just became like best buddies. And now we do the show together, and that's my boy. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I die for that cat. That's my boy.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, you guys seem like you have a very strong brotherhood, it's so cool to watch, and it's funny too, because if I'm sure people have heard of it, Dana White Looking for a Fight, the YouTube series. You guys are hilarious on there. You'll really add so much to that show.
Yeah, man, I appreciate that. I appreciate it, for sure.
Yeah, they got to keep you on there too, man. I don't know if they're ever gonna switch people around, but you and Matt and Dana all need to stay together. It's a solid trio.
Yeah, I think, you know, one thing about Dana, when he has his core guys, his crew, he keeps that around. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to be that, you know, self-centered to say, yeah, I'm in Dana's crew, but Dana, despite like them saying, you know, he does this to the fighters or whatever. I mean, he has a job to do, but in terms of like that show, I think that's something that he enjoys doing with us. So I don't think that he'd be looking to replace any of us. Yeah. You know, I think that's something that he does appreciate. So.
Yeah. If it's not broken, don't fix it, man. It's a good chemistry y'all got going on there. He's gonna have to go back to Hawaii and redeem himself on that cliff, though, man. Y'all need to make a.
Oh, I know. You know, I know him, man. If I know him, before he dies, he's gonna go back and conquer that thing. I know how prideful he is, and that hurt him to walk down.
I bet, man.
To walk down that rock.
He's gonna go back and jump. He was there till sunset, so I know that had to sting.
Oh, it stung us all.
Block happened there. How's the comedy world going for you, man? I know you into improv and stand up.
Yeah, I do more improv than stand up. I do a lot of improv, actually. Yeah, I do a ton of improv, performing regularly, but obviously haven't been able to perform for the last couple of months because, you know, everything has been shut down. I'm not exactly sure when we'll be performing again. Yeah, whenever we're gonna open back up, but you know, I still have, you know, rehearsals, and I talk to my people. We do it online, and you know, we're talking about having like some shows online. It's going to be a little weird to do that, but I don't know. You know what? Any type of outlet you can have to express yourself and be creative, I'm okay with that. I'm at least willing to give it a shot. So I don't know. Look out for that. We might be doing some Instagram live stuff, comedy shows online. I don't know. I don't know how it's gonna work out, but
yeah, I'm a big fan of comedy, man. And one of our comedian friends that comes on the other podcast, she's doing a lot of virtual comedy right now, and she's having fun with it. She's just making the best of it, and it's obviously not the same. You're not getting the reactions from the crowd like you would, but everybody watching it still loves it. So I think you should do it. Do an improv virtual thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's just tough. Like, I don't know if that is the way to, like, improv is tough to do, I guess, on TV,
Yeah.
but there are things that we can do that I think would be really fun. I think we're going to explore that a little more and hopefully showcase our talent in that way.
I think things will start getting back to normal more real soon too. You're on the East Coast. You guys, I think, will bounce back quicker than California. I'm right.
Yeah, I heard California
Colorado.
is like, yeah, California is probably a mess right now, huh?
Yeah, it sounds like
cut it down to like August.
Yeah, that's nuts, man. That's for a ton of comedians they're at too. They're all freaking out.
Man,
it's crazy. How did you get involved with the Dana White looking for a fight? Did he come to you?
Yeah, they came to me. Again, that was Matt's thing. I hadn't talked to Matt for a while prior to that. I mean, as my boy, but it's not like we were calling each other every day. but when the other guy who was on the show had a problem, and he had to leave the show, they were looking for somebody else reliable, and Matt recommended me, and Dana was like, well, let's call him. So, and here I am, like, Amanda Nunes. I was helping Amanda Nunes train for Misha Tate. And I remember I was standing over by the cage, and she was sparring, and my phone rang, and it was a 702 number. I'm like, this is a Vegas number. I don't know. It must be a bill collector. So I hung up. And then Matt sends me a text. He goes, hey, man, Dana's calling. I'm like, Dana who? He's like, Dana White. He says, yeah, so answer the phone when Dana calls. I said, uh-oh. So he called me back, and I answered, and he was like, Dean. I was like, what's up? He's like, hey, have you ever seen the show Looking for a Fight? I was like, of course. I ain't seen it, though. I just told him I did. And then he was like, well, he was like, well, we got a spot open. Do you want to come on? I said, absolutely. He said, the catch is you got to leave tomorrow. I said, send a ticket. I got a bag in the car. I did. I always keep extra stuff in the car. I said, send a ticket. I'll be right there.
Nice.
And the rest is history.
That's awesome, man. Jumped on it.
Yeah. Man, listen, opportunities don't come often. If you're not ready to take them, even if I'm not ready to take them, I'm going to take them anyway and fail. But I'm never going to let an opportunity pass me up.
Yeah. It shows, man, with your life, where you're at today.
Nothing gets by me, man. I try everything.
Yeah. I'm sure there's a lot of fighters that would love to work with you and probably seeking you out too with your new chapter in your life. Is there any fighters individually that you are aiming to work with or hoping to work with?
Well, the perfect timing that I quit my job during the pandemic, right? I'm like, God, I could have at least waited till after.
Yeah, I just bought a house right before it.
Yeah, but I don't know. It was like I had to do the right thing and just leave when I wanted to leave, and not, I could have been like, yo, I'm trying to squeeze more money out of them until the thing is over, but I didn't want to do that. I said, I'm just going to get started on my own thing now. And it was scary because, when you're with a team for a long time and, everything's kind of laid out for you, it's like you show up to work and you work with your people and you go home. But to do it on my own is different because I'm 100% responsible for everything that I do.
Right.
So I was a bit nervous, like, man, I hope this works out. But I don't think I'm going to have a problem. Like that first week when I first announced that I wanted to do my own thing, I mean, I was getting calls from everybody. Like a lot of people were like, yo, what you doing? You want to come up here? You want to train? And I was like, first, I don't want to be a part of a team. That's the thing, is I don't want to be a part of a team. I don't want to build a team. I just want to do my thing. So, but I don't think I'm going to have a problem.
Yeah, I don't think you will either. You had a lot of guys reaching out trying to get you on their team?
Yeah. I had a lot of guys reach out and try to get me on a team or move me to a new area to start a new team in a new area. I mean, we're from Atlanta to Chicago to New York. I had some boys in New York like, yo, man, come to New York. Come to Manhattan, man. We got the spot for you. I was like, I love Manhattan, but I can't do
it. If you were to go full time with that and make that your main gig, being an individual coach, basically, how much fighters would you need to be sustainable doing that?
Well, honestly, I kind of will do that. That's what I'm saying. That's what's kind of scary about this is that
Yeah.
I am going to take this route, and which is why I'm a little bit more selective of who I work with and what I'm going to be doing my time. And that's kind of one of the reasons why I left is because I wanted to be more selective with who I worked with, and build relationships with people and help them grow. When I first started working with Tyron Woodley, it was like 13 years ago, and I used to work with him. We used to work together, and I remember he used to try to give me money, and I'd be like, "No, I don't want your money, man. When you start making real money, you can pay me." Now he's making real money, and he pays me. and the way I see it is like, if I had 3 or 4 of them, I would be okay. Even if I didn't, like, I would still be okay. So my thing is like, I'm looking for more quality now. So I want
Yeah.
fighters that I can work with. Like if they're not already there making money, I want somebody who I can work with for the next 5 to 10 years and build a system with that maybe not making money now, but will make money later. So I'm going to be a little bit more selective of who I work with.
Yeah. That makes sense. So how does that work for people like me that don't know? I'm a big MMA fan. I've been watching it for so long now. I love it. I know you guys pretty well, but I don't know how the coaching system works. With an academy as big as ATT, if there's a fighter that comes in there, how do they assign them to a certain coach? What's that process?
It all depends. Like, there was no real system of how guys get assigned to anybody. It would just depend on who it was, where they were fighting, how big of a fight it was. Like if it was somebody fighting, if we allowed some pro to come in who was fighting in like, a small regional show, he probably wouldn't get any attention. He would
Yeah.
just come in and just be a part of the group. But I mean, if you get a UFC fighter coming in with a big name who had a big fight, then we'd go, okay, who's the best person for him? Let's set him up with a schedule. Let's get him right. Um, so I mean, and there were a lot of factors that kind of determined how we divvied up the fighters with the coaches.
Okay. I always wonder how that worked. Um, Tyron, it looks like he's gonna be getting a number one contendership fight, or he's gonna get another title shot next. Y'all know?
I don't
Up,
know
up
the
in the air.
implications. Yeah, it's always up in the air.
Yeah,
They
especially
never,
right now.
yeah, they don't reveal anything
Yeah.
until it's time to reveal it. So we don't know. I think, but the one thing about the UFC that you can almost guarantee is if you put on the performance of a lifetime or the performance that they want in that moment, they will make a decision. You know,
Yeah.
so like if Tyron goes out there and just knocks his dude's head off in the first 30 seconds, leaves him stiff cold in the middle of the cage, he's gonna get a title shot.
Yeah.
you know, oh,
Put the
that's it.
stamp on it.
He can turn around and be like, yo, I want my belt back. And then boom, there it is.
Yeah.
Everybody on the internet saying, give him his belt back. Then he gets a title shot. Or he can go out there and it can be a decision and it can be like, oh, this guy doesn't deserve to be. So, it's a very fickle game. We understand that. So
Right.
we take everything serious and we don't underestimate anything. We treat everything with equal value. We know that he's got to take advantage of these opportunities and can't let them slip between his fingers because again, like every fight matters, everything you do matters, and if you don't take full advantage of it, they're going to use it against you.
For sure. If he ends up fighting Masvidal, did you previously coach him as well? I know you coached around him for sure.
No, I never really coached Masvidal. Like
Okay.
when I was competing or would just go down there, we were like training partners, and then when I became a coach, he worked with Mike Brown, and
Okay.
we were just friends in the gym, but I never coached him.
So that wouldn't be awkward at all for you guys then, huh? To
No,
compete.
not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Cool. It seems like Tyron used to have issues with Dana White and a lot of the powers kind of holding him back. It seems like a lot of that's gotten a lot better. Or is it
I don't know.
there's still a lot of
I hope
politics
so.
going on?
I don't know. It's a roller coaster ride.
Yeah.
One day, one day Tyron's at the Super Bowl with him, and the next day they're yelling and arguing on the internet. So it's kind of a roller coaster ride, but at the end of the day, everybody wants the same thing. Everybody wants to make money. And I think when in terms of that, it's going to happen. Uh-oh.
Yeah, well, shit. Apparently her
Was that
mom
your,
didn't
is
tell
that your
her.
little daughter?
That's my youngest. Say hi real quick. You already photobombed my podcast?
Yeah, you already photobombed. You might as well come in and say hi. Hi, how are you?
You're not in the shop, baby. You gotta come over here. You got the dog in here and everything. Fail.
Oh, no.
All right, get the dog out, and I gotta go. I'm on the podcast, sweetheart. Go. Savannah, go. Look, now you got the dog and the cat fighting while we're live. So unprofessional.
That's all right.
Give me 1 second.
Human. We're human.
Sorry about this, Dean. Let me get my wife to round her up real quick.
No worries.
All right.
I didn't know. Mommy never told me that you're recording.
I am, baby. You got to go.
Okay.
All right, I'll talk to you after. Vámonos.
Is he here?
No, that was the other day.
Okay.
Okay, go. Wow.
I like what you did. You put it on mute and cursed her out.
Yeah. I got more stern with the goes.
Yeah, I hear you.
That's the first time that's happened. Well,
That's okay.
we'll rock with it.
Yeah, I like it. It's character.
Yeah. She's my wild one for sure, man. She doesn't follow the rules that well. She's basically a little clone of me.
That's good.
How you have kids too, correct?
Yeah, I have a 14-year-old son. He's actually out here in camp with us. So he's
cool.
having a good time. Yeah, he's a soccer player, so he can run a bit. So I got him out there running with Tyron. Running part. Yeah, doing road work. Yeah.
Wear him out, huh?
Yeah.
14, man. You got endless energy.
Yeah, I know.
Is he interested in pursuing a fight career or fight path?
No, he'll learn to defend himself and get stronger, but he doesn't want to fight. And I'm okay with that, trust me.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. He's going to do more of use his brain or do soccer or something like that.
Yeah, that's the goal. I've been playing soccer with him since he was 4 years old. He better be.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's one sport I've always been terrible at.
Yeah.
Tripping on my own feet. Does he do jiu-jitsu or do you have him in any kind of grappling?
No grappling. We box around a little bit. That's about it. Just boxing.
Yeah.
Well, eventually we'll start doing a little bit of grappling. But for now, I want to make sure he could throw his hands on the street. Again, everything is for the street.
Yeah. Where it matters, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So what's ideal for you when everything clears up, man? How do you want your near future to go?
So like I said, I've gotten the people that I want to work with. They just got to be able to fight.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that. I got the people some of the people right now that I want to be able to work with. I just need to get them to fight so that we can start our process. Win, lose, or draw, I just need to start the process of this is what we need to do in order to make you better. And that's what I'm interested in doing, as opposed to saying, all right, how do we make the team better? I'm not concerned with a team. I'm concerned with making individual people better. So I need to do what I need to do to make individual people better. Part of that is getting them competing. So I need MMA to come back around as fast as I can, because competition is important.
Right. It seems like being an individual coach like that too, you could give them a lot more attention and more focus, and that would benefit them in the long run.
Oh, it benefits them tremendously in the long run. In the short term, maybe they don't see it, because there's a lot of ways to get good at any skill, and you can get good in a team environment, maybe even faster, because because they'll throw you into an environment where you're forced to be good. You're just forced to go hard every day, and you're forced to be good. So you can get good that way, but it's harder. I think it's harder to have a career that way, a long-lasting career that way. And because when you get good that way, you're forced to do things a certain way that you know are effective. But that doesn't mean that you're going to be good. It just means that you're effective at whatever it is that you're doing. So for me, by monitoring, developing, analyzing, paying attention to my fighters, I want to make them good.
Yeah.
I want them to be reliable. I want them to be consistent and not just go into fights and go, I've learned to develop a right hand because I needed it every day because, you know, they were trying to kill me.
Yeah.
So I learned to develop it. No, I want to be able to develop skills, and everybody learns differently too. So that's a problem. That was a problem before I had, because you're trying to teach too many people the same way, and not everybody learns the same way.
Yeah, more like a factory than individual.
Yeah.
Kind of correlates with schooling. Like myself, I was terrible in public school. It didn't work for me. I was always acting out. I spent most of my public school life in the hallway because I was a distraction for other kids. So it's kind of the same thing, a big factory mindset of teaching, much compared to individualized, specialized to that person and that individual.
Yeah, just having a tutor. You know, I'm just like a tutor.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I think you'll do very well with it. I'm excited to see what comes out of it as well. And I think Tyron's gonna definitely get his belt back. No offense to Usman. I think he's a great champion too, but I think that belt's gonna be back on him in no time.
Yeah, that's what we're counting on.
Yeah, that's gonna be huge for your coaching as well.
Yeah, it will. It will. Like, you know, that's the thing too. You know, when I come out, like, you know, eyes are going to be on me. Like, okay, how's he going to do? Mm-hmm. So it's going to be tough. I'm like, you know, I don't want to come out the gate and be like, all right, lost. I'm prepared for it though. You know, you know, I've been doing this for 20 something years. Like I've lost, so it doesn't bother me. But you know, obviously, I don't want to have to eat that. I want to jump out the gate and start racking up wins because that's what I want to do.
Yeah, you need to get Diego Sanchez under your umbrella, man. Get him away from that craziness.
Well, that's the one thing I do know, man. It's part of the thing that I need in order for my fighters. I need them to listen to me. You know, some fighters don't listen. You know, they just want somebody to confirm what they're doing.
Right.
And I don't want that. You know, that's not what I want to do. I'll communicate. Yeah, I'm into that, but I don't want to just be like, all right, I don't want to be a total yes man to my fighters and just, you know, just for the money. That's not what I want.
Yeah, I can respect that. As a coach, do you have a preference of weight class and male fighter versus female fighter and all that?
Recently, and this is something that I've learned to develop over the years, and that's that female fighters tend to listen more than male fighters. They tend to absorb information better. So honestly, I prefer working with female fighters.
Really?
I do. They, you know, guys are like, you know, and I'm not the only person who thinks this either. I've heard this from many people, but you know, guys are like, you teach them a move and they're like, oh, I don't want to do it that way. I'm gonna do it this way. And girls are like, but girls are used to being, as bad as it may sound, but they're used to being, like, you know, at the bottom, you know, especially in terms of like in gyms, you know, they're typically the smallest person in the gym. So they're used to, you know, not getting, well, before they weren't getting any attention. So now when they get attention, because female MMA has gotten so big that they love it. They're like, man, please give me more, tell me more. What else you want me to do? I'll do whatever. So they want to get good. So they tend to be a little bit more receptive to instruction and coaching. So I prefer to work with girls, but if not girls, I don't know. I work with lighter weight fighters. I work with anybody, like either heavyweights or really lightweight fighters. Like I have a couple middleweights I used to work with, but I don't think that's really my forte.
Yeah.
Middleweights, light heavyweights. I think, you know, heavyweight like Greg, I think I did a good job with him, or just lighter fighters, 145, 135.
Right. With the girl fighter thing, do you think that is a gender thing, or do you think it's because they're so early on in the sport still that they have that hunger and they're still developing as a whole?
No, I think part of it is probably a gender thing. because again, like they're doing a sport that is so fringe and so taboo.
Mm-hmm.
Even for guys, it's a little weird. But for
Right.
girls to want to do this, to get inside of a cage, I mean, it's so looked like, you do what? You know, so for girls to do this, you know, they gotta be special. You know, they gotta be out there a little bit.
Yeah.
And they gotta want to do this. Like, you can't be doing this and not want to do this. But girls that do this, they absolutely want to do this. Like, I can't force Jillian Robertson to take a day off. I'm always like, yo, take a day off. And she just won't take a day off. I'm like, I need you to take a day off. She just won't do it.
Wow, that's awesome. Man, I wasn't on board with female MMA early on because I was like, man, they look like backyard fighting. Looks like a bunch of drama type stuff. But man, they've gotten so good and so sharp now. They're exciting as hell to watch.
Well, I'm going to tell you, but the reason why was because they never got any attention in the gyms.
Yeah.
It was because, like, they would go in the gyms and they had to survive. Mm-hmm. So they would just have to survive, and they learned to fight and they were tough. So then they would fight and they would be kind of exploited because they were girls or whatever. And then when Ronda Rousey came and said, you know, that we can make money with this, then it was like, Ronda did it. Ronda's making money. Then Joanna's now doing it. Now the Ultimate Fighter. Then you know, you got Carla Esparza winning the first Ultimate Fighter. So now all these girls are making money. So then the gyms are like, whoa, girls can make money? Let's teach them something. But prior to that, the girls were just like fighting their way to get technique and fighting their way to be good. So that's why it looked the way it did, because they weren't learning a lot in gyms. They were just trying to survive.
Wow, that's interesting. That's a good point too. That makes it all make much more sense. All right, Mr. Dean, you ready for the 6 questions?
I am. I'm ready.
Let's do it. Number 1, what movie can you watch over and over and not get tired of it?
I have 2, and I do.
Go on.
All right, and I got to tell you these 2 because they're very important. First off, Good Will Hunting is a movie that I used to watch every night. I watched it every night for like 3 years. I had to fall asleep to it. I couldn't sleep if I didn't have that movie on.
Wow.
So Good Will Hunting is one of the movies. And then when that one got old, it finally eventually, it didn't get old. I just changed the movie. A movie called The Libertine with Johnny Depp.
The Libertine?
The Libertine.
I don't know that one.
Yeah, it's with Johnny Depp. It came out, I want to say 2004, 2007.
Okay.
It's like it's a period piece movie, but I never get tired of that movie. And that was a movie I watched every night for like 2 years, and I still watch it now.
Wow. That's crazy, man. I've never heard anybody binge movies that much.
Yeah, like, there's a lot of movies I haven't seen just because I binge movies. I'm like, I just watch the same movie over and over and over again.
I don't know The Libertine, but what is it about Good Will Hunting that you're so attracted to?
I don't know. I mean, it's, you know, it's very cliche to say when people ask what your favorite movie is. A lot of people are like, oh, Good Will Hunting. And I get it. It is kind of cliche to say. But I don't know. I think that at some level, everybody sees a bit of Will Hunting in themselves, like that dynamic of, you know, just like, especially if you're an introvert like me, like just kind of wanting to be on your own, but then you have this unique ability that's that's not discovered yet, and you have, and I think everybody can kind of relate to that in some way, because everybody, especially introverts, feel like we want to be alone, but we have like this talent that we need to show the world, and I think that is kind of what really attracted me to that.
That's cool, man. I'm going to have to check out The Libertine. I'm pretty much a movie buff, but I haven't heard of that one.
Well, The Libertine is very much kind of like the same theme of this guy who doesn't like people, but is extremely brilliant. And it's loosely based on a true story about a poet in the 16th century. But it's great, man. If you like good acting, Johnny Depp and John Malkovich, it's an absolute wonder.
Good combo.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, number 2. What's the best practical joke that you've played on someone or that has been played on you?
Now, when you asked me this, I was like, because I don't do practical jokes. I really don't. I don't do practical jokes. And I really didn't know or have an answer for this one because I just don't do practical jokes this way. But if there was, what's that?
Has anybody gotten you?
No, like, and I think that's one thing too, is that like people don't even try to get me with jokes because they know that like I don't really do like surprises or stupid jokes or things like that. But
Matt
so
hasn't gotten you with anything on set or anything like that?
No, I can't. Nothing sticks out. Like that was, I'm like absolutely embarrassed right now that nothing sticks out, that I don't have a practical joke story. It's weird to me that I don't have one.
What about when you were younger? Anything stand out? Teenage years? Siblings?
Listen, before this is over, I'm gonna have a practical joke story for you.
All right, we'll come back to it.
Yeah, can we come back to that? And I know I should have had one for that, but
Are you
I
good?
just was like, I don't have anything.
This is a very casual podcast. Number 3, what song do you have to sing along with if you hear it?
It's embarrassing.
That sounds very interesting. Let's hear it.
Yeah. What's the song? Call Me Maybe?
Damn, what's that that girl's name?
That song.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Let's hear it.
Every time I hear that song, I have to sing along with it.
Yeah, it's like two.
I have to sing along with it. I was at a fight at I think we were in New Jersey. Yeah, we were in New Jersey filming, looking for a fight, and it came on. And I started singing it. And then one of the girls, God bless her heart, is a good friend of mine. Her name is Devin. She worked for, I think it was the CFFC at the time. And she saw me singing it. And she started singing it with me.
It's contagious, huh?
It's contagious. Like something about that song, and you just kind of like when it comes on, you're just like, call me maybe. Yeah, whatever it is. Listen, don't print that part. Now you can print that part. But yeah, that's my song. That's the song I sing.
You want to give us a verse from it?
No.
All right, I tried. Number 4, what is something that really irritates you?
When people, 2 things irritate me. So like, even though I didn't have an answer for that one yet, 2 things irritate me. When people chew with their mouth open.
Oh, dude.
It's very irritating. Yeah, pound on that. It's very irritating. Like, come on, man. I know you can hear that. And then just people being selfishly disrespectful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can agree on both of those.
Yeah, like when like the way people drive and they try to take over the road, or just in parking lots going too fast. Like just when people are just disrespectful and selfish, it bothers me. Like to the point where I almost like, you know, what was that dude's name in like Seattle or something, who was like the superhero? I forgot what his name was, but
in Seattle.
Was like what's that?
You said in Seattle?
He was like somewhere in Seattle or Portland, and he was like a superhero. And he used to dress up in the city, and he was an MMA fighter too, and he would dress up in the city and just like act like he was fighting crime, but it was like a real legit thing that he was doing.
I don't think I know this guy. That sounds
I had to look that up, but I actually sometimes felt like I wanted to do that.
Yeah.
Just like be a superhero. And like when I saw people being mean, for lack of better words, to other people, that I would step in, intervene, and just check them.
Yeah.
Because I hate when people are mean and selfish and disrespectful to other people. I hate it.
Man, it's crazy how many people are like that out there too. They're just oblivious to it.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my God.
Same with the chewing with the mouth open, man. I have some friends that are like that, and my wife and I talk about it. Like, how the hell does their wife or how the hell is their husband not call them out on that or say like, hey, knock that shit off?
Yeah,
close your mouth while you're chewing.
Yeah, you hear that, right? It's nasty.
Yeah. My sister, I grew up in a house with 2 brothers and a sister, and I had to share a room with my sister for the majority of my childhood. And she has that condition where you hear certain noises that irritates the crap out of you. I heard Brendan Schaub talk about it too. He has it as well. So, man, if you made any noise out of line, I would get my ass whipped. My Ninja Turtles broken, everything.
Oh yeah.
I grew up on walking thin ice with that stuff. So if anybody chewed like that around her, she'd probably choke slam them.
That's dope.
Yeah. All right. Number 5. What is an item in your home that is special to you for sentimental reasons?
So I didn't really have anything. Here's like throughout my career, I've never really kept anything. I always would just be like, I don't want it. I don't want it. And I never really kept anything. Just recently, my mother passed away. So we were cleaning out our house and my brother found a box of all my old t-shirts that I had when I was coming up, like my very first t-shirts that I ever had made with my name on them.
That's so cool.
And yeah, so it was the one thing that I said, I'm not going to throw these away. I'm going to keep these.
Yeah, definitely.
I was like, I didn't even know I had this stuff. So yeah, it was just like old t-shirts from like the late 90s with my name on them that I had got made when I first started fighting. So yeah, those are pretty cool to me.
Yeah, I bet, man. I'm sure your son would love to have that later on too. That'd be a cool.
Yeah, in fact, he actually asked for one of them. So I was like, $25, kid.
Gotta hustle.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you got tired of them, either way, I don't recommend this, but you could sell that on eBay for sure.
Yeah, nah, this is something I think that I am going to keep for myself, like, because I don't have anything else.
Yeah.
I threw away so much stuff. I mean, stuff that I probably could have sold on eBay and made money on, I just threw it away.
Yeah, I know. That's pretty awesome that your mother had that too.
Yeah.
She hung on to it too. It was obviously special to her too.
Yeah.
That's really cool. All right, last one, number 6. What accomplishment are you most proud of?
So, I'm going to take that back to my son. You know, I'm just extremely proud that I have a son, the type of son that I do have, who I don't get, like, he excels in pretty much everything. And I know everybody says that, but mine does. Like, he gets straight A's in school. You know, he's a good soccer player. He's just such a good kid. And I almost feel like I don't deserve it. Like, how did I do this? Like, he's quiet, doesn't get in trouble. He's just such a good kid. And that's something that I'm proud of, to say that I raised him to be like this, and and I groomed him to where he is. Yeah, I'm really, really happy about that. That's something that nothing in my fight career could compare to the fact that, because I see so many people like these little bad kids or whatever, and I'm just like, But the fact that my kid is he's such a good kid that I don't. Like, he's more responsible than I am. So
that's really cool, man.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, it's a blessing. I tell you, it's a blessing.
That's a testament to your quality as a human being too, that you can make a kid come out that great and keep him in line and have him respectful, doing well in life. My kids are animals, so that tells you right there.
Well, you got multiple kids, so that might be a little harder. I got one that I had to pay attention to the whole time, and he was with me. He was with me, my whole career. Like, he's always come to the gym with me, and even when I would carry him into the gym with me all day long. So, like, he's always been with me. So I guess through watching me operate in life, he picked up on some things.
Yeah, that's really cool, man. You got a good soldier coming up for you. I wouldn't able to produce one. I only made girls, man.
You got how many girls you got?
I have 2 girls and 1 stepson.
Oh.
Yeah. And my 2 girls, they're either best friends or they're ultimate enemies, man. They just roller coaster.
I feel for you. Matt Sarah got 3 girls, and I'm like, man, I feel for you. I don't know how you can deal with that. Yeah, I'm just like I said. I'm glad I got 1 boy. That's it.
Yeah,
and I'm good with that.
That's awesome, man. You're doing a great job. You're a very inspiring person. So I appreciate you coming on and taking the time to come here too.
I appreciate you, man, for sure.
What would you like to plug for our listeners? Where can we find you?
Definitely check me on all my social media outlets at Dean Thomas. Dean spelled D-I-N, Thomas, Thomas. So D-I-N Thomas. So Look at me, Instagram, Twitter. I'm all over the place. Definitely watch Dana White looking for a fight. Hopefully we get that going again soon enough. And if you need some energy, check out my company, Elite Ops Energy Strips. They put them on your tongue, dissolves, give you instant energy right then and there. So
I'm gonna take the energy. So yeah, I'll check that out.
Yeah.
Lacking it, so I'm always looking for it. Awesome. Well, thanks again, Dana. It was really cool getting to know you better. I appreciate you coming on. I like to end my episodes with an awkward goodbye, so just kind of make it as awkward as possible, and we'll hang up, bro.
All right.
Later, man.
Peace.